Bloomberg Audio Studios.
Podcasts, radio, news.
This is Bloomberg Businessweek with Massar and Tim Stenovec on Bloomberg Radio.
Hey, let's shift gears a little bit to something that we feature each and every year on Bloomberg Businessweek, highlighting the L'Oreal Women of Worth program, which for a 19th year is taking 10 nonprofit leaders from around the U.S. to recognize their philanthropic achievements. Back with us is Ali Goldstein. She's president of L'Oreal Paris, USA. She joins us here in the Bloomberg Interactive Brokers studio. Also with us is Jahnavi Rao, an honoree. She's founder and president of New Voters. It's a youth-led national nonprofit. What it does is it engages high school students. It's nonpartisan. They do near-peer mentorship to make sure that youth voices are heard and prioritized in politics. Ali, welcome back. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you again for having me.
Yeah,
it's really a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's good to see you every year. Remind everybody about this program.
Yeah, so L'Oreal Paris Women of Worth, as you said, it's our 19th year of fulfilling this program. It's our great honor, and it's really our essential philanthropic program that aligns to our tagline, because you're worth it. As a brand, L'Oreal Paris strives to really, truly support women's empowerment and the idea that everyone is worth it. And what that means is giving back to those and supporting those who are striving, to help others. Women helping other women is integrally part of our brand equity. And Women of Worth is a program that does just that. So we recognize 10 honorees every year. We have an extensive application program, and we find 10 women doing great things with their 10 organizations that span a spectrum of causes. And we support them and highlight what they're doing and really recognize the efforts. For the most part, they're very grassroots. So we find programs that really need us and need our help. So things that are not fully developed and scaled yet. And we bring support, a bit of financial support, we bring awareness, we bring networking and mentorship, and we help them get a bit of the scale and support that they need to do all the great work that they're doing.
And of course, one of those women is joining us right now. Jahnavi, tell us a little bit about New Voters, of course.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. My name is Jahnavi, and I take the She series, and I'm from outside of Philadelphia, and I'm super excited to share about what New Voters is up to. So yeah, we're a youth-led 501c3 dedicated to helping high school students find their voice in politics before they're old enough to vote, and then when they become old enough to vote. So 4 million students graduate from high school every single year, and around 90% of them are eligible to register and vote by the time they graduate. So this is a basically completely under-targeted population by voter outreach campaigns, by actual campaigns, and when it comes to largely voter registration. And because of that massive number, if high school students alone, if 18-year-olds alone voted at the same rate as baby boomers, 18-year-olds would be the deciding voice on every contested election in the country.
Why don't they?
I mean, I think that a big part of it is that lack of outreach. There was a survey by Circle at Tufts, which is one of the leading youth research institutions in the country, and they found that in 2022, less than 50% of 18 to 24-year-olds were reached out to by any campaign. And when you think about 18-year-olds, if you think about just high school students alone, I know I'm inundated with those messages being like, Jahnavi, we're disappointed in you, donate to me. But I know that the high school students I work with aren't receiving those messages. They're not on these lists because a lot of them aren't going to be 18, because you can register to vote in most states at 17 if you'll be 18 by the election. So they're not getting that outreach. Maybe they don't know they can register to vote in time. And also there is, as I'm sure you guys know, just such a microscope on schools right now and fear of being political at all, that they see civic engagement and voter registration as being part of that. And you can't really blame them because they are being targeted and being harassed for doing things. So because of that, schools are really tentative to make voter registration, even though schools are meant to prepare students for future life, and being an active civic and democratic participant is essential to that. They are not integrating voter registration into the programming. But logistical issues aside of, people getting reached out to, I also think that there is a lack of civics education in this country and a lack of seeing that democracy and voting is a way to create change. I think that any discussion, and if you guys have young people in your lives, I'm sure you know this, like young people aren't apathetic. They're desperate to be heard on the issues that impact our generation more than anybody else. It's just they don't see voting as a way to do that.
Would Jahnavi have been picked had this not been an election year? Because I feel like her selection is like perfect, given that we're 6 days out from the election. But take us into the process.
Yeah.
And do you make it sort of timely?
So, okay, first, she would have been picked because she's fantastic and
go.
doing great work. But it is true that the honorees and their
I guess
causes...
I didn't really ask that question in a
No,
nice
no,
way.
no.
You know what I mean.
I know.
You guys
I
know what
wanted
I
to give
mean.
some love to Jahnavi. But in all seriousness, what's really fascinating about Women of Worth is the women and the organizations that we recognize are truly sort of a microcosm of what's happening at the time. And we see that each and every year. And so it's true that, what we see this year is programs around mental health, programs around sustainability, programs around voters. Like, we see a surge in topics that are present and relevant for these times. Coming out of COVID, we saw a lot more in healthcare. So there's definitely a representative of sort of what's current at the moment in time, and we see that represented. Then in terms of the process, we receive a couple thousand, 2,000 to 3,000 applications every year. We have a pretty rigorous process for recognizing and selecting the women. We invite our employees to get involved. We partner with Points of Light and an organization that helps us vet. And then we have, we narrow down and we have a final group that we select with colleagues that we work with, as well as our spokeswoman, Asia Naomi King, who's very involved in this as well. Every year, she helps select the finalists, and she's with us at the ceremony in November to choose the final 10.
All right, well, we're going to be speaking more about the final
Yes.
10 in just a few minutes. We're going to do some news, and we're going to come back with Ali Goldstein, president of L'Oreal Paris USA, and Jahnavi Rao, an honoree, the founder and president of the youth-led national nonprofit New Voters.
We're back now with Ali Goldstein. She, of course, is the president of L'Oreal Paris USA. Also joined by Jahnavi Rao. She is, of course, the founder and the president of New Voters. Of course, one of the Women of Worth. This is the 19th year that L'Oreal Paris is doing this program. And, of course, we are 6 days away from the election, Jahnavi, as you know very well. And I'm curious, what does New Voters look like post-presidential election?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the critical thing that you guys definitely know, but there are elections every single year. There's 2 elections every year. Some states there's 4 elections in a year, and civic engagement amongst everybody, but especially among young people, has to happen every day, 365, sometimes 366 days a year. So we are operational in around 400 high schools across the country, largely in Pennsylvania and Arizona. And what we do is we support the students and we empower them to run voter registration drives in their schools and get students who are both old enough to vote and also not old enough to vote to run a registration drive. In addition to that, every student is matched with a personal college mentor who helps them, figure out how to mobilize their school, how to, we're like, use the different social cliques at your school. Like day one, get the lacrosse captain and the football captain to get their team registered, then the drum major on day 2, and then day 3, like the NHS.
I imagine
president.
Debate team, probably doesn't need much there.
No, there are some pools of people who are very civically engaged. There's actually, and this actually leads into like another thing that we do, which is research on high school political behavior. Because anecdotally, you can probably think that, okay, the music kids and the debate kids are very registered to vote, and the STEM kids and the athletes are probably less so. And there's actually no real research into high school political behavior and civic engagement, kind of following along this trend of there not really being resources dedicated to high school students registering to vote. However, I do work with a number of incredible organizations. We lead a coalition called the New Voters Collaborative, which is around 30, 40 organizations dedicated to high school civic engagement, everything from the YMCA to When We All Vote. And we meet every month to talk about high school civic engagement. But we also have a research network dedicated to figuring out why high school students vote or what makes them want to. And that's all done by researchers 19 years old and under.
Jahnavi, what's the link now to registering these students and them actually going out and voting? Just because someone's registered doesn't mean they're going to vote.
Yeah, absolutely. However, amongst high school students, 18-year-olds, they actually found that around 80 to 83% of 18-year-olds once registered vote will turn out to vote, just as a controlled, looking at the voter file. So it is a pretty high conversion rate of registered voter to voter when it comes to 18-year-olds. I think that it is necessary, though, to follow up any registration with conversations, with information about registering to vote. I mean, it's something they found is as amazing as automatic voter registration is, which is when the DMV will automatically register you to vote when you register to vote. They found that has really low conversion rates of registered voter to voter. Because it's not coupled with a conversation. It's not coupled with, this is why you should register to vote. So this is in no way saying that AVR shouldn't exist. It's incredibly important and essential to eliminating barriers to registering to vote. But it also means that you still need to have those conversations in the classroom. And again, that's something that teachers are afraid of doing. And that's why as a nonprofit, as a student-led organization, or youth-led, I'm no longer a student, we really prioritize having those conversations across the political divides regularly.
As we mentioned, Jahnavi Rao, just one of the honorees of the L'Oreal Women of Worth program this year. Ali, give us an idea of some of the other 9 and where they're from and what they're working on.
So in total, the 10 women are a highly diverse group. So they represent many, many causes. They're represented across the United States, across age, ethnicity, and that is an important part of our program to really be as diverse as possible. In terms of causes, there's quite a few very significant and emotional causes. So there's a woman named Laura Pahulis who runs an organization called Control Alt Delete, and she provides resources for women who are in domestic violence situations to literally escape those dangerous environments. So she and her organization will literally come and rescue women and their children and help them get out of these organizations. So that's one. There's another organization that is about helping refugees. We also know that's a very important topic of recent. Her name is Maymuna. Her organization is the Tia Foundation. So she supports helping refugees get on their feet following their move. And then there are more health-focused organizations. So Sherry Mathis leads an organization called the Mammogram Poster Girls, which seems pretty straightforward, but is so needed. And I think what she has identified is that women in underprivileged neighborhoods are underrepresented getting mammograms. And we know you can prevent breast cancer through early detection, or at least prevent mortality, prevent the most significant issues with early detection. And so her organization is really about providing mammograms, free mammograms, to women who normally don't have access to them, which is really, really powerful. So the women are really fantastic. It's a great group, all with amazing causes. You've met all of them, Jahnavi, and so you've seen. I think what's also very powerful is we don't only just have the 10 this year, but we have 190 women behind us.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit, because you've been coming on this program each and every year for as long as I've been doing this program. And every year you bring somebody. Yes. And what they talk about are the resources that they have with this group of alumni.
Yes. So what we do over time is, we give them awareness. We've evolved to be much more digitally led, social. So it was a bit more traditional 5 years ago, when we've really moved how we activate the Women of Worth to be much more modernized, so more digital. We've enhanced with a program called Global Giving, which not only do we give financial resources, but now we have an opportunity through globalgiving.org for consumers to contribute to the organizations as well. And we've added a network through LinkedIn where we've connected all the 190 women. And when you have 190 women, you can imagine there's overlapping causes. But that's not a detriment, because now we have a network of women who can help other women who've been in similar circumstances. So the women who were recognized 10 years ago have evolved their organizations, they've scaled, they've learned, they've made mistakes, and now they can help the younger women, the newer women, support their organizations. The other thing is next year is our 20th anniversary, which is super exciting. We are planning very big things. Our ambition is to bring back all 200 women and make a real celebration of the impact that all of these 200 women have had together over the last 20 years, which is really powerful and really exciting.
Well, now you have to do it. You said it.
I know,
You said
I
it
know.
on Bloomberg.
It's
That's our
out
goal.
there. It's on the record.
So now you
It's
have
on
to
the
do
record.
it. Ali Goldstein, president of L'Oreal Paris USA, here in our Bloomberg Interactive Brokers studio. Also with us, Jahnavi Rao, Honoree, founder and president of New Voters. It's that youth-led national nonprofit. They work to engage high school students to ensure that youth voices are heard and prioritized in politics.